To transform your reality, you have to change your personality. You have to change your personality to transform your reality. It really is this simple. Yet it's so easy to think that we want certain things because of what we think it will give us. But if you're not actually willing to become the person who has those things, who even has the responsibility of those things, then you're going to keep being on a hamster wheel looking for outside things to fulfill you instead of finding the inner feelings, the inner frequencies, the inner reality that brings true fulfillment. So I'm Kai Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist, and I have been on quite the journey. I sort of feel like I've been growing up online over the last 12, 14 years, mostly 12 years since I really started doing video. But even then, it still took a good 2-3 years to start doing them consistently. Now, I am 43, so it's not like I was technically growing up from a child, but I also was on a journey of healing PTSD, mental health issues, chronic health issues, severe phobias of being seen and judged and attacked. So many things, even insecurities that eventually forced me to strip everything back, such as I stopped wearing my pretty wigs, my pretty hairs. I stopped wearing all makeup, of which I'm wearing a little bit of light makeup now. I have nothing against makeup, nothing against any of that, obviously. But the reason why 2 or 3 years ago, maybe about 2-ish years ago, I realized that I was so basing my value and my worth on what everybody else thought of me, or what I thought everybody else thought of me, that I was incredibly insecure. Now, considering that I was insecure, scared of what people thought of me, you can post online and it can feel so unknown? Yeah, not knowing what people will say, right? Not knowing how they'll perceive you. Considering that I had already healed PTSD, I'd already healed a chronic lung disease that almost killed me, I'd already healed chronic fatigue, the doctor said I'd be sick with forever, and I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. So I went and I threw the prescription in the trash, and I went home and figured out how to heal myself, and this was long before I ever got into energy work, so that must have been when I was about 24-ish, and I'm 43 now, so you do the math if you want. So considering that what I was left with was insecurity, because growing up I was bullied every single day, made to feel diminished and like I didn't matter, like everyone hated me, and constantly bullied for my accent, which growing up I just always had an accent. Growing up, I was always weird, obviously. And the weight that I put on, and the more I got bullied, the more weight I put on, and the worse I felt about myself. And when I lost the weight at 17, you know, it was one of those tragic circumstances where all of a sudden you have all this attention and it's like, oh my God. And so I equated my value to my looks and my sexuality. And now that was a long journey coming through that, and it's been a whole thing. But the reason I say this is because there's all these things that I thought that I needed from the outside to be happy, such as how I look. And obviously I still care about how I look, but it's not this burning sensation when people look at me anymore if I'm not the right weight that I think I should be, or, you know, if I have little flaws or defects, and I'm not worried if somebody doesn't like me anymore. Whereas I used to be extremely, exceedingly worried about what people thought, to the point that it was an actual phobia. So for me, part of my journey was once I started realizing that my fear of them judging me was me prejudging me. I was judging myself, projecting it onto them. Like even strangers, when I was out walking, I'd be like, oh no, oh, here comes someone down the path, and I'll be so paranoid in my head because I was so, you know, overweight, and the worse I felt about it, the more overweight I got. And in this moment, when I was out walking one time, this is years ago, it took me years from this moment of finally realizing, wait there, I'm the one judging myself. And sure, they might judge me for a second. They're strangers. Or if there's someone that knows me, if they judge me, well, then they don't matter because they don't care enough about me. So pay them no mind. And usually they're too busy thinking about themselves, worrying is somebody else judging them, right? So from that day, it was a long and winding journey still. And I say this because of my story, but also with the hope that'll help you realize that it's not just about taking some 12-step program or like some 12-week program and yay, all your problems are fixed. It doesn't work like that. Our transformation happens in layers, in stages. So while, yes, I realized that I was the one judging myself, it still took me a long time to be able to unravel my subconscious programs that automatically caused me to flinch and to care so much and all those other things. So back to what I was saying earlier, a couple of years ago, I went through a stage where I actually took a year off from my business and now I'm rebuilding now. I've grown so many followings over the years and I've helped thousands of people around the world, but my technical following count right now is so small because I would either delete accounts or grow groups and delete them, grow email lists and then just let them go, while I was also helping other people grow their followings and grow their audiences and manifest money and heal chronic issues and increase their energy, heal their relationships, manifest relationships. So many amazing things that I've helped others do over the years because my method works. It just works. It's a type of EFT, but I call it somatic illumination because it isn't just about reprogramming your subconscious. It is about connecting with divine power and realizing that we need to use God's power, infinite spirit, however you see it. We need to realize that we don't create on our own. Like we can, and we do generally a lot of the time, but it usually doesn't work out for the best. That's creating from ego, and much of our ego is steeped in fear. And when you create from fear or to avoid fear, then guess what? You create more things to fear. So it's really important to understand that you need to be creating from trust. This is one big thing that I help reprogram my clients with. But as I said, it's a big deprogramming journey as well, because we call upon your higher self, and I help you merge with your higher self while finding the subconscious memories that create a holographic memory inside of you as a child, going back in time in your mind to change and rescue that younger self, to take it to a better place, to use healing visualizations, which is a sort of thing that, I don't know if other people have done, they probably have, but something that I created for myself in my life was healing visualization, where you go into the past and you interact with it in certain ways that transforms your neural pathways, upgrades your memories, and therefore literally shifts you onto a different timeline where this version of you now experienced a different past. And if that's too woo-woo metaphysically, you don't even really need to understand it. It just is, right? Just with the way quantum physics works, the entanglement effect and superimposition, whatever you observe, you entangle with. And now this is why part of what I do is quantum untangling, because you don't want to be entangled with the negative things that you've observed. These are your assumptions, your expectations, your fears of being judged, the things that happen to you. And so you really do need to go in and reprogram yourself. But as I said, not just that. You need to reprogram yourself, deprogram yourself, and connect with your higher self. Now, what is your higher self? Your higher self is a part of you that is pure love, pure divinity, the highest intelligence of all. It's not just a good feeling. It's actually your truest self that thinks from love intelligence, which is the highest intelligence of all. And this is why people who work with me, they become more intelligent, because fear literally makes you stupid, like literally. It dumbs you down. It makes you more controllable. It makes you more panicked. It drains your life force. And in fact, age is just compounded fear, right? So when you have a fear of life and death, a fear of dying, and which means you conversely also have a fear of living. And when you have beliefs about getting old and simply things that happen in your life that that, what's it called? Build up negative energy creates trauma, which is the buildup of negative energy in your body. And you just have all these compounded, stuck, stagnant negative energy in your body, which everyone has. If you have any aches or pains or fears and doubts that just won't go away, any lumps in your throat every time you go to hit record, things like this, it all compounds to age you over time. And this is why when people do my work as well, they reverse age. Now, for me, my only problem is if I only have one, but then when it comes to reverse aging, has been more like my weight issues and my not looking after myself so well. But as soon as I start looking after myself as well, I reverse age. And so I know for a fact that reverse aging is possible. I've seen it, I've done it many a time. And my clients who come to me, they reverse age too. So this is just a message to you today to realize that one, you are the one judging you. Two, realize that your insecurities can be transformed into confidence and inner security. And three, to receive, have, manifest, be what you want in your life. You have to change your personality to transform your reality. You really do. This is what they mean when they say you have to become the person who has what you want. When you think about it, the person who has the things that you want, she'll have different habits. She'll be doing different things. She will have different thoughts about what she's doing every single day. So you can't expect to just get what you think you want until you become the person who has it. Now, that's going to look different for quite a lot of people. But there are also a certain set of thoughts or a certain way that you need to be thinking. This is solution down, not problem up. You need to know how to focus on the solution and think like a visionary. A big part of this really is connecting with the God force, infinite spirit, divine, 0 point field, however you want to think of this higher power that beats every one of our hearts. And when you connect with it and you adore it and you acknowledge that you're getting your power, as I say, glory to God, you're getting your power from the God force, from the source of life, from life itself. This is a conscious living force that wants you to have what you want, but there's caveats there. It's not just like get everything you want. It's like, then again, it depends on your consciousness level. If you have a pure desire and a low level of consciousness, not knowing that your desire is selfish and will hurt others, then you will actually get that. If you don't understand anywhere in your soul that that is a negative thing to get something that could end up hurting others. Well, then that's why all these bad people in the world seem to get what they want, is because they don't know that it's bad. But their karmic chickens will come home to roost, either in this life, another, in 4 or 5 lifetimes away. One day it will come back and bite them in the butt. It just will. So once you start having life lessons through the lifetimes and you start growing up and you realize, oh, wait there, if I do this certain thing, that's not going to be the best thing and it could end up hurting someone, then you're going to have more resistance when it comes to selfish desires, even if they seem like they're not going to be hurting anyone, because the way that we are supported by the divine supreme mind, by God itself, is by being in service. Because the only way that God, infinite spirit, can do good on this earth is physically through people, right? And so we are meant to be the vessels for good. And this is why the more good you do, the more you're rewarded and provided for. But you have to realize the things that you think you want on the outside aren't going to give you what you ultimately want unless you can first find the happiness, the joy, and the ease on the inside, even when you don't have it. And this is a healing journey. And this is a big part of what I help my clients transform within their personality, is their need to have those things. Now, funnily enough, what that does is it helps you manifest amazing things much more easily. because you're not so attached to everything on the outside, grasping onto things you think will make you happy, and you learn how to generate the happiness and the joy within yourself. And then that's when you become a magnet for your desires. So let me know what have been your highlights or takeaways from this video. And please share this if it has helped you. Pop into my inbox if you want to share your own story or ask me any questions, or pop it into the comments. I love having spiritual discussions. I love hearing how my work has affected you. So definitely make sure you also check out my tapping videos, my energy alchemy, my spiritual teachings, and yeah, I have plenty of home study programs and high-level one-to-one work for spiritual women in business who already are seeing clients or customers or selling, and you're definitely on your journey. And the reason for this is because I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here for people who are like, oh, I just can't do a thing. It's like, well, I get that. I've been there. I really have. But my work is very powerful and it will transform you mind, body, and soul. But it does take some work. You will actually have to go in and do the energy work. You do have to do your own tapping. And it's not just tapping. I combine breath work, somatic movement. I combine prayer, like I prefer to call them calls to the divine. I teach you how to think differently and how to think in a new language, like not literally overseas language, but English language. I teach you how to think from solution and the divinity through, rather than trying to focus on the problem, overthink. This is your ego. This is what creates things that will crumble and collapse. So if you are ready to revolutionize your life, your business, your relationships, and literally everything that's important to you, then use my somatic elimination. Reach out to me to ask about my one-to-one work or how I can help you today. So gorgeous, I'm Kai Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and get on my mailing list so that you can be part of my community and receive transformational processes, tips, and messages just about every day.